That's just a joke Chevy Chase was talking to me in a workplace.
Ant-Man. Uncle Man.
Hey, welcome back to the Breakroom, everybody. It's our daily nerdy news show. It keeps you up to date on what you need to know. And you know what? Today, I'm sorry to give a bad diagnosis, but we're all infected.
Oh, no.
With a mania.
Uh-oh.
It's Quantumania.
Oh, thank goodness.
Coming up today, we're going to be talking Quantumania. We're going to be talking about this big Marvel news that Marvel just kind of snuck out low-key, thinking nobody would notice.
They hit an Easter egg on one of their posters.
Yes, a big Easter egg, and some other stuff. With me to do that today, we've got Brandon Barrick's here.
That's right, and all 7 of my holes are here as well.
Whoa.
We haven't fixed the graphics.
Sure. Hey, don't tease us with a good time.
Yeah.
Jessica Clemons is here.
Hi, who's my name? Oh, I'm in the right spot.
Oh, okay. She's got the correct name. And then T. Michael Bechtold's here as well.
Quantumania is not the only disease I've been diagnosed with recently. Herpes.
I like this.
Go off camera 4. Go off camera 4 right now.
Herpes simplex B. B for Bechtold.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, they said that the only herpes they've ever found that in are herpes in manatees. I have manatee herpes.
Oh,
Congratulations.
It's because of all those body parts you got from animals.
National Geographic said,
A manatee's nipples are in its armpit.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's true.
True. Wow.
I've never felt closer to a manatee. Moving on.
They're like Navi. Both Tommy and I are wearing some new merch. It's available at nerdriot.shop. Tommy's wearing one of our Quantumania designs, a Quantum Thief shirt. I really like that one. And then I'm repping our new channel, The Deep Dive.
Yeah, the Vostronaut.
Yeah, this is a Vostronaut named after Eric Voss. We just launched that channel today. There's some really great content up there. A video about Loki, a video about WandaVision. Eric did a almost 90-minute live breakdown of Quantumania.
We got him hooked up to IVs right now. He's,
that poor guy.
he coded out pretty hard on before, but I brought him back to life.
Eric always works really hard, but the volume and intensity of work he's been putting in to get this new channel off the ground has been wild. So, hey, if you're not already, go over there, subscribe, watch those videos. They're long, in-depth, awesome videos. It'll take you a minute, but they're so worth your time.
Did you say they go deep?
I'd say they dive deep.
Wow.
Hey, let's get into some headlines.
Whoa.
John, hold it together. Off-screen producer John dying slowly in the background.
Now off camera.
What's his diagnosis, do you think?
Diagnosis? Hunk syndrome.
Baby.
Baby.
This Friday is wild.
The sad part is Hunk syndrome is fatal.
Hunk syndrome is terminal. You die within 7 to 10 hours of sexiness.
Yeah. The news we kind of mentioned there. We got a new poster out for the Marvels, which was awesome. It's a really cool stylized poster with Kamala Khan. There it is.
Whoa!
Right? Monica Rambeau and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, and then Kamala Khan. Really cool graphics, the color scheme, everything. But there's a key piece of information, new information on that poster, a release date of November 10th.
Hey, that's a special day.
Yeah.
It's Tommy's birthday.
That's my birthday.
Congratulations, Tommy. Happy birthday.
We will be having a Marvels themed birthday party for me. I'm turning 24, and I've never felt more stressed to succeed.
You look marvelous.
Wow.
Oh, God, look at these
Y2K.
bags. These bags might be 24.
But the Marvels had been previously slated for July 28th of this year, so it's getting moved back a few months. Now, the November 10th was not exactly, but in November, Blade had originally been
Yeah, I
slated
think
to be in
Blade
November.
was going to be like the week after, like November 17th or maybe November 24th. But yeah, they kind of slid it into that.
And Guardians
November
is
spot.
May.
Guardians is still May. That's
Okay.
not moving.
You know what that makes me think? A lot of TV coming in the summer.
Well, so yeah, we're going to talk about that. And there's been a lot of news lately. There was a Hollywood Reporter about Marvel specifically, article about Marvel, and kind of like Kevin Feige, we talked about this on the show yesterday. They might be kind of maybe doing slightly fewer projects and maybe spacing them out more. Specifically, Disney Plus projects. I don't think they're going to go from like 3 or 4 movies a year to 2 or anything like that. They need those movies. They're huge IP that make a lot of money. But the Disney Plus series, it seems like they might be backing away from those a little bit. Last year we got 3 movies, 3 series, and 2 special presentations. This year we're getting 3 movies, question mark series, double question mark special presentations. None of those have been announced. And the rumor is the only series we're guaranteed to get this year, Marvel series, are Secret Invasion that could come out any day now. The rumor is maybe May. And then Loki season 2 sometime in the summer. So that might be in between Guardians and the Marvels we get Loki.
It would be crazy. It would be absolutely an insane marketing stunt, but not, and I realize when I sound like I'm saying something serious, you think it's going to be just a dirty joke. This is a real thing that I have. And if I were working at Disney, don't make that face at me, I would make it again. Thank you.
Hey!
Wouldn't the ultimate way to release Secret Invasion would be to put out a fake movie?
Yes.
That is not a, like Disney presents the All-Stars, and it's like this skateboarding gang of misfits, and then 3 minutes into the movie, it's just the pilot of Secret Invasion, and then the show starts.
Wow. I would like that. I mean, to secretly drop Secret Invasion would be very on brand, right? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? Like if it was like the Secret Invasion, the show is also secretly invading our lives. Am I playing 4D chess right here?
Yeah.
Listen, I had a whole tub of popcorn this morning for breakfast, and it had extra butter on it. I'm seeing into the future, and the future is heart attack. All right.
Galaxy Brain Bechtold over here. His popcorn came in this container.
Yes, that's right. Popcorn came in that
and you
helmet.
know, some people have been speculating, and just sorry, the end of that switcheroo is they actually moved up the release of the Haunted Mansion movie. That is now going to be getting released in that July window when the Marvels was going to be released. Actually, that movie looks like it's going to be really cool.
And I think that's good because you think of like November, that's right around Halloween. You don't want a haunted house movie around then. You got to put it in July when people are doing fireworks and water skiing.
Well,
they're having a little too much fun on their summer vacations.
I heard the conspiracy theory that this is so that can be on Disney Plus by Halloween.
Okay, you know what? Now you're playing 4D chess with me. Welcome to the Popcorn Club.
But then I've heard a lot of speculation, right? Like that, Secret Invasion might be setting up the Marvels. Right? We know Carol Danvers and Nick Fury obviously have a big history together. She's kind of linked with Sword and Skrulls and S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this kind of stuff in the comics and in the film version thus far. Do we think there is some kind of setup? Because maybe part of the delay too is Secret Invasion might be delayed a little bit. So thus they also have to delay the Marvels. Do you think?
I mean, it makes sense because we know Nick Fury's going to be in Secret Invasion. And it seems like there's two parallel stories going on in Marvel right now, right? Whatever's going on with the government and like tech, between like Armor Wars and New World Order and Secret Invasion and all that stuff, and then whatever Kang is up to on the other side. And eventually those two stories will cross at an important venture. But like for the most part, only some people know what Kang is up to. The word's not out yet, and who knows what Ant-Man's going to tell people that Kang's up to? I don't know.
And we kind of need Secret Invasion to kind of, not retcon, but right now the Skrulls are sympathetic kind of victims of Kree oppression. Ostensibly, Secret Invasion is going to establish some Skrulls as a threat, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't have that right now. We just have charming Skrulls we love, voiced by Ben Mendelsohn. So
The guy that kind of wrote and orchestrated the multiverse in the quantum realm for Marvel said that Carol Danvers could go into the quantum realm. So if it's like connected as if like, oh, someone that's a Skrull is pretending to be Carol Danvers, and they have the ability to go into the quantum realm, it makes sense that that's why they had to push it. So it's like, okay, we need Secret Invasion and we need Carol Danvers to line up perfectly because Skrulls are going to pretend to be her and go into the quantum realm and do all these other things. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, great. And again, we're hoping, especially we who consume and love so much Marvel content, this is not a sign that they're going to make fewer movies or release fewer movies anytime soon. I think there's a special issue with the Blade movie needing to be delayed. We're definitely, or fingers crossed, getting that next year. Start shooting very soon.
10 weeks, right, or something like that?
I think we're kind of, Marvel likes to put out about 4 movies a year. That's like, you get a spring to summer and a fall, and damn it, take our money. We'll see what other impact some of these changes might have long term. But again, we hope it's just so that they can make some awesome movies and they all tie together. Now, we should forewarn everybody. Obviously, this is going to be a spoiler-filled Quantumania discussion.
We're going to assume you've seen the movie at this point.
Now, that's okay if you haven't seen the movie and you've watched up until now and you've loved it. Let's be honest, every second. Just pause here, put this in your little watch later folder on YouTube, and come back and watch us whenever you've gotten to the movie.
That's what John's doing.
Oh, okay.
We got some borders.
We'll put up a little spoiler border.
And also, or just watch, because we're going to tell a story so beautiful, it'll eclipse any theatrical experience you have. By the way, E.T. goes home at the end of the movie.
Whoa!
Okay, the Goonies defeat the Fratelli family.
Jack falls into the water and freezes to death.
That's right.
Yeah.
DiCaprio dies in almost every movie he's in. Because that dude doesn't want to do a sequel.
That's true. Never did a sequel.
Anywho.
Or a superhero movie, or so he says.
We're waiting for that border. Well, I guess we can start.
Yeah. We're working on the technical ramifications, but trust that we're about to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
So
I could do some non-spoilery thoughts.
well, let's get into initial thoughts and feelings, and like we don't have to get into like reviews or tomato meters or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like as you're walking out of the theater, what are your big like kind of takeaways or the things that left the biggest impression on you?
Well, for me, due to a variety of circumstances, my viewing of it was delayed. So I got to accumulate a lot of other people's opinions. I left that theater. I loved that movie. I really liked it. I mean, I guess maybe love is too strong. I think we have gone away from being able to evaluate comic book movies for the silly things that they are. Comic books are inherently kind of silly. Some graphic novels aren't, and some storylines handle heavier themes, but like, we're talking about people in tights that we are spoiler banners on. Kang. I think I know this is a longer thought. This movie to me can be evaluated as a fun, very creative, very interesting world establishing, like almost kind of a space movie set in a quantum realm, I guess is how I felt about it. And I thought that we'll go to more. They made some really interesting choices specifically with the characters who were born and lived in the quantum realm and how they interacted with everyone who came from up there. So I'd love to talk more about that later, but I'm going to let other people speak.
My favorite thing about it was the quantum realm, and we kind of talked about this on Inside Marvel, where agree to disagree. I think we didn't learn a lot about the quantum realm before. All we knew is that you can get in there with Pym particles, magic, and the quantum tunnel. And this way, we are now learning about the hierarchy, the power, the system, how everything works within the quantum realm. And that's a big information we never got, because we can keep bringing up the microverse, but the microverse is not the quantum realm. There's some things that kind of go over, but it's not the same. We have the quantum realm in the MCU. So it's like everything we're learning about the inside workings of the quantum realm, what exists inside of it, we're learning in this movie. Overall, I thought the movie was okay.
I had a fun time. Felt like an Ant-Man movie. Had a lot of humor. I have a lot of questions. So many questions. Where are my answers?
I don't think that movie was the final conclusion that people thought it was going to be, and I think that is part of the, in my opinion, people that are struggling with it. It kind of continued the theme of Phase 4, which has been establish some new things, ask a lot of questions, offer very little answers, and don't really connect to something coming in the future. Gone are the days of Thor's hammer being the post-credit scene because you know Thor is coming, right? Like, now it's like, oh, there's or whatever, we'll get into it. Like, this is ostensibly something that could happen further down the road, or these are people we'll see later, but it's not a literal bridge to the next project, and I think that's bumping. When you change the formula, there's going to be pushback. There's going to be people that are like, this isn't what I expected. This isn't what I've been promised by this studio with their Marvel movies. But for me, it didn't bother me. But I understand why people would be bothered.
I think the only reason it kind of bothered people is because it's the opening to Phase 5. So it's like, I get that it's the introduction. And so I want it to be the introduction, kind of how like Wakanda Forever was like the farewell package to the Phase 4. It's like, okay. I will give Jeff Loveness has a lot to carry on his shoulders introducing Phase 5. And so I just wanted to lay up for the next movie.
And sorry to interrupt, we should say, like, hey, put your big thoughts, your big questions in the chat. We'll be trying to answer as many, especially at the end of this episode, we'll get through as many questions, thoughts, fun bits as we can. Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
I was just going to say the movie, too, is in a weird spot where it's like the next movie out is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is kind of telling its own separate story and wrapping up its own little trilogy over there. So it is it is setting up a lot for Phase 5. I don't know how much it ties into their next movie.
Well,
and I don't know how much Guardians is going to tie into Phase 5.
It kind of. Oh, sorry.
No, all I'm going to say is I think that's what the High Evolutionary and Adam Warlock are for.
Yeah.
Those will connect to the
rest of the
Eternals.
story.
It will connect to the mystical part, and then it will also connect to grounded government parts.
Yeah, because I think it's an interesting and ambitious decision to start your phase with the concluding chapters of 2 trilogies, right? Like it's like this is what's launching this new phase. The last, well, I guess maybe not the last Ant-Man movie, but possibly the last Ant-Man movie, possibly definitely the last Guardians movie in that iteration, you know, or with that crew. So it is kind of hard because you're right. You want them to like. This movie did not feel conclusive in any way with the Ant-Man universe.
Yeah.
I mean, none of the like big, shocking, who's gonna live, who's gonna die, who's gonna stay, in terms of the original Ant-Man cast, really ended up being consequential in any way. You know, except for Corey Stoll, who bit it twice now. 2-time loser.
he can come
I
back.
like my war heroes who don't
back.
get captured.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, no, Tommy. That's a bold statement.
Well, let's go ahead and start diving into some of the big questions I think a lot of people had coming out of the movie. A first one, as we launch into our next big bad for this phase and possibly beyond, was this version of Kang a good guy?
Dude, I ride that he was.
I think that the good versions of Kangs, I argue, He Who Remains being a good version of Kang, possibly are the Kangs that are Kang-flicted with their morals. Because we get to that post-credit scene, we see the Council of Kangs. Not many of those Kangs seemed very conflicted. They seemed like they were ready to cancel some people. They were ready to go on a killing spree.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
I think we got a topic.
Hang on, Kang on. Let me fin Kang-ish.
Wow.
Well, you say He Who Remains is a good Kang. Is he a good Kang?
Well, I mean, I think in the
eliminating-
spectrum, what is good, what is evil, time is a prison, okay? That's people don't understand how time works.
And I think like one thing that good, well-rounded villains have is they're convinced they're good guys. Right? Like that's what in their mind they're doing the right thing. Right?
Well, they keep trying to warn the humans or whoever that they come into encounter with, and maybe it's all a lie. Maybe it's the the charismatic con man, but they seem to be warning them, hey, I'm the better version of what's to come. You kill me, you open the floodgates for worse versions. Now we have 2 people who have basically now said that. So is that Kang? Is that any Kang backed into a corner's stock line? Well, you got the best one. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we have He Who Remains and Kang the Conqueror that both acknowledge that there are good and bad Kangs. But again, that's like talking to Satan and being like, he's like, I'm the good Satan. There's a bad Satan.
There is a good Satan.
So it's like
Santa. You switch one letter.
Satan didn't do anything wrong.
So
he just questioned God, and I got him thrown out of
bad
heaven.
analogy.
He tore his wings off and cast him down into a lake of fire.
What I was gonna finish saying is the fact that, it's like, can we trust that there is actually a good Kang? But I think what we can trust is there was a Kang that was trying to stop the other Kangs from coming. Because Kang, He Who Remains, was doing it. He took that timeline out of the way of the Kangs from finding it. So it's like, I was trying to stop this from happening. I created the entire TVA to stop this from happening. So I think there is such a thing as a good Kang. Plus, at the beginning of the Marvel, the movie, they have the Marvel letters, and He Who Remains is in it.
Yep.
And I don't think there's been a lot of times where a villain is in the Marvel
I
letter.
think maybe Ultron, right?
Eric speculated in his live breakdown that is because that alternate Kang that runs Kang with a Q Industries and maybe owns Avengers Tower at some point, right? And that's why it was in the A for Avengers. Now, Brandon, we were talking right before the show about Janet and her role with this particular Kang, right?
Yeah.
Should she have taken his deal?
So like Janet, she helps him fix the ship, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take you back to your jelly bean," and she sees what's in his mind, and she's like, "No. I think she's right because she knows that as soon as she brings this Kang into the 616, he's gonna destroy, he's gonna conquer it. And this is a Kang, if we believe He Who Remains, is not aware of the 616, can't see it. He's got his blinders on. Now Janet doesn't know this, but all she knows is like, if I allow this guy in, he's gonna destroy my world, where my husband is, where my child is. So she does the right thing and like destroys the device so he can't get out. Again, because he's the slowest Kang. He's too dumb to fix his ship
Slow
by
Kang
himself.
theory.
But I do see your idea that like is it the council that's bad and they sabotage his ship because they don't like him and he's doing the right thing? I don't know. But I still think he's a bad guy because if he comes to 616, he would destroy it.
Do you not think Janet was also just trying to protect the other planets? Because I think yes, her daughter was the leading factor, but I think she was also like, I can't have you just out there killing everybody.
Sure, that's also true. She saw the damage he did. The Avenger spirit inside of her would have her do the right thing.
I mean, maybe I'm a little too sweet and innocent, but
we say that all the time.
I took him at his word in that I thought like they had kind of the quick establishing of their relationship and friendship was that he was saying like, I am going to do terrible things throughout the multiverse and I will leave your universe alone because you helped me and you will never know the atrocities that I am committing. It's like basically like push this button and kill a person on the other side of the world, like, but get $1 million, right? Like that's basically what he offered.
Yeah.
Which is like, I can't help you. You're gonna go do these things, and he immediately is like, I will burn them all. They took it up instead of being like, no, I was bad in the past.
Yeah,
baby. Instead, he was like, you kick your ass for looking in my mind.
You're right. Yeah, but to me, it seemed more like an insanity than it did like an inability to control that rather than it did a deliberate like heel turn of like ha, you believed me.
I also think it is you can proffer is this like the Green Goblin case, right? Where the knowledge of time and the knowledge of how time operates, which is what he kept saying, like you people don't understand how time works. You're thinking too linearly.
Get it out.
Linearly, he's so burdened by this knowledge of the way things actually are that he can't help but do these things, which by us mere mortals is perceived of as wrong, but in his mind are the right thing to do. And he's tired of dealing with us peasants, us ants.
I want to call out a couple super chats. The real tree in the chat, Quantumania, was fire emoji. Hell yeah. Whiskey Bravo 85. TVA question, could Miss Minutes be the consciousness of Ravonna Renslayer built by He Who Remains?
Only if He Who Remains is the consciousness of Cogsworth.
Then what happens?
Then he destroys Miss Minutes' gears.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Christian Ford has like a fun comment here about how like the size and the scope of the battles in the MCU are kind of growing bigger.
Right.
And so like inherently, does that mean we're probably going to get to something bigger than Endgame? Boy, both we and Marvel would love that.
That's what
And
Super
thank
Wars
you,
is.
Christian Ford. That was your first super chat according to our super chat analytics. So
thank you.
I like that idea too. Whereas like Endgame, was Infinity War was this big dramatic thing, affected the world. Endgame resolved it and brought things back to the way they were, with some problems that they're still working out. But I still think like the results of like Secret Wars by the end of that will be like, universes will still be destroyed.
Yeah, it's gonna make. Wouldn't it make Battle World?
I think it will make Battle World.
So pieces of different planets and different timelines will be created into this.
I think things will be collapsed and people will never be able to go back to the way
be able to
things
go
were.
back.
Interesting. Yeah. Trash
How do you
bag.
go higher than that, though?
Trash bag in the chat saying rip MODOK. Yeah, I mean, as two members of the Big Head Gang,
That's right.
I think we mourn all our fallen soldiers.
anytime I see a
You
size,
don't have a big head.
I have a really big head. It may not look it, but my head is deep. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
he's got a deep dive, and I'd like to go deep into it. Now, let me tell you this: anytime I see a 7 3/4, 7.5 fall. It's a little extra morning for me.
That noggin be hogging up space.
He was 107 and
That guy,
3/4.
could you imagine if Kang one year was like, we're making fitted hats as Christmas gifts for everybody down here. MODOK, what are you, about a 395 and 1/8?
395.
That guy needs all the beans to make a beanie.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. We got to talk more about MODOK because I think my experience, I know people thought he was very goofy and silly, and I couldn't agree more. But the people in my theater loved MODOK, and they loved everything he did.
I wanted a good MODOK profile where you could see the nose really sticking out.
Yeah.
It was hard to get a sense of scale. The face looked so strange.
The little like baby body when they pull him out of the thing and then put him into his
The
chair.
butt was too much.
Yeah.
It was too
Immediately, Eric sent me a still of the butt on Slack. He was like,
It was, but I will say, if you're in a theater where people are MODOK positive, I think your opinion gets skewed because I was prepared to be like, oh, brother. And instead I was like, oh, brother, big head brother.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of Kevin Kojanik, I hope I'm saying that right, Kevin, said that, like, yeah, he was kind of echoing that. Like, yeah, there's goofy moments in this movie. Obviously, the Ant-Man franchise is the goofiest, probably up there with Guardians, and the most comedic of all the MCU properties. And it's fitting, because comics often have really goofy moments, right?
And I would like to see a lot of these characters come back, you know, all these like Quantum Realm characters, and they might play a role later down the line.
One of
if
them
they
has
keep
to
aligning
be-
with the ants who are super smart now and technologically advanced.
Go watch my theory of what happens in the quantum realm, because I go very deep into that.
Yeah.
I go in on that. But yeah, one of them has to be a superhero. I think I talked to you about this. I was like, you're not going to explore a new world, a new realm, and not one of them is going to be like a superhero. Someone has to come out of this world that's so big. Might be the Fantastic Four. I don't, but who knows?
Yeah. Carter Hawkins also in the chat said, does Kang become He Who Remains? Or maybe Victor Timely, one of these Kang variants that we're familiar with?
I'm sorry. I know. I saw this movie hours ago,
Yeah,
so it's fresh. It's fresh on me. I think that the Kang that was in the final suck-in got final. I think he's now in that what is it? Land or the Schrodinger's box, but what probability chamber. I think that Kang is the one being, maybe Doctor Doom, possibly Reed Richards, that brain can handle that type of thing. And I think he's in there creating different outcomes, basically doing a hack of a Doctor Strange. He's like brain hacking Doctor Strange's million outcomes or whatever. He's just playing them all out in that room like a chessboard where he can be like, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if I do this? And I think when he does get out, he's going to be so intellectually superior and know, like, that's going to be part of his strength in Kang Dynasty is he knows what all the other people, because he's killed all these Avengers. He has this whole database of killing Avengers, killing heroes. Now he can figure out a way to kill them all again, and I think he's going to be unstoppable when that Kang comes out.
I like that.
That's my theory.
Yeah. And we've got a bunch of other kind of Kang-related... actually, TP in the Super Chat gave the movie 4.9 out of 5, which is very high, TP. But then he adds, I don't like how dumbed down Kang was. So you're a subscriber to the slow Kang theory. Brandon has been pushing us
but that's fair.
time.
I mean, he had one little quandary, they had one little quandary, but they're still willing to give the film a good score.
That's the only thing that kept it from a 5 out of 5.
It's also okay if you didn't like it.
Yeah.
This could all be revealed to be part of Kang's master plan to make them think he was stuck there, but he wasn't, because he wanted them to come back for whatever weird reason.
Please, I'm alone.
Please, I'm alone down there.
I'm alone.
Because somehow MODOK was able to help Kang figure out how to suck people in, do the initial suck in on people,
Well, I
but
think
they
it's
couldn't
just
get back
because
out.
he was so advanced creating MODOK. MODOK was so advanced that he was like, oh, I can do it. I just need to get a signal. That's all I need, which is never going to happen. And then one day it fucking...
I think our poor slow Kang, even when push came to shove and it was time to launch, he kept being like, okay, launch the city. And it wouldn't launch. He's like, now I said launch.
There's tons of outtakes of him pulling a push door.
Yeah.
Kang,
He's got his thumb on the button. He's like, why aren't you idiots launching? He doesn't want to leave.
I don't want to go on a tangent, but just very quick. Brandon, the slow Kang theory is actually an adaptation of your slow Kong theory.
Yes.
Could you just give people the very Cliff Notes version of slow Kong?
You all saw Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yes.
There's a moment in the film where Kong goes to the center of the earth, makes total sense, and finds that there was a whole civilization of Kongs down there. And these Kongs, they had written language, they built weapons, and our boy Kong, up on the surface, was just eating his own poop in a dome ceiling.
He was the dumbest of all the Kongs.
He was the dumbest Kong ever.
He was just trying to stick it into a hot spring all the time.
So is it like because we kept Kang at that
I don't
length?
know. I don't know. Kang got down there and couldn't
But
get
it's
back
also
out.
like, I talked to Dashiell about this. Why is the other Kangs not the dumbed down Kangs than this Kang?
Because they tricked him. They got him.
Well, that's the thing. He was outnumbered, though. It was 1v3 or 1v1,000,000. So we don't know how many people actually messed with his engine and threw him into a different timeline.
Can someone go tell Kang he just walked into a closet again? He keeps leaving through the closet. Kang, your suit's on backwards. Your cape's on your front.
Wow. Hey, that's not how you sit in that chair, Kang.
Wait, that's actually maybe a good theory on why he kept sitting in that chair all weird.
Kang's flying around on a toilet. They're like, Kang, that's the bathroom you're flying around.
I'm MODOK now.
Of some of these Kang quandaries, another question we had, like, do you think there's a chance that Janet, seeing all the atrocities of this Kang, do you think she actually could have been seeing the atrocities of all the Kangs when she touched that ship? Or do you think that was just this particular?
Well, when he freaked out, that made me think those
Yeah,
were
our
him.
boy showed a penchant for destroying worlds.
And I think they're each different. So this is the Kang the Conqueror suit we saw slaying people versus a Mortis or Centurion or whatever.
Well, and I'm wondering too, and I was having this conversation with you and with Eric, like all these people in the quantum realm, were some of them there before Kang? Did Kang pull these people down? Because my interpretation of the whole thing was that they were like refugees of worlds destroyed by Kang, and he had pulled them down there. I don't know how he was pulling them down from within the quantum realm. Like as they were trying to send signals out, were they also pulling in other people?
No.
But then you were saying like they
That's
all
my
live
theory
down
of
there.
what they're gonna do.
And then you hear Hank Pym being like, "Oh, life evolved here."
I also, because also it's like, why would he pull people from different planets that all speak the same language?
They drank the ooze.
But did they each? We didn't see them each.
Everyone drinks.
I
Trust
just
me, everybody
assume
drank that guy.
Everyone. You get the ooze at a bar.
Okay.
You drink a couple shots of Jaeger,
I
you
don't
understand
think so.
everybody.
So
you
do
know?
they milk that guy and then send him out to all the bars in the quantum realm? They're
I
like,
don't know.
they're like, hang on, we're out of ooze.
See,
They're like,
I'm more concerned about the freedom fighters. They're telling poor Veb, like, no, we need your body juice.
Yeah.
He's like, you sure you can't go to the store and get some? Like,
yeah, we make this.
And they're like, no,
synthesize
no,
my
Veb,
juice.
we need it from the source, Veb.
Jazz for us. Jazz your juice for us. No, hang on. If we're talking about quantum realm people, then I want to get to my. This is
Who's your favorite
something
quantum
I
realm?
really enjoyed about this movie was the way the humanoid quantum realm residents were like slightly uncanny valley. The way they talked, like I thought William Jackson Harper's character, Bill Murray's character, and a couple of other characters, they were just a little bit off of like. Enough to make you believe, because my thing all along was like those guys were both going to be from Earth and then had been sucked down. I think no. Now I think that there are like humanoids that were born in the quantum realm. Just the way they talked, the way they were just like a little bit. It was like cadence. It was like especially knowing those actors and how they normally talk. It gave me this like. I don't know if that was direction or character choice.
I
like
thought
they've
Bill
been
Murray
Google
changed
translated
into it.
or something. Yeah.
Because she talked about, they were like, Hank was like, "Are you human?" And Bill Murray was like, "Damn near close. I could be." He was like, I thought he
Well, he's like the parts
transformed
that
himself.
matter.
Oh, like he made himself.
He made himself.
But
look
I also,
like a
but
human
even
for
when he,
her.
but just their reactions to stuff, like when he was like ants, those are ants. Do we have ants? Like it was like almost like Disney animatronic the way they like he moved around. I don't know. I just thought that was such an interesting way to differentiate 616 Earthlings and quantum realm humanoids. Yeah. I thought that was really well done and really interesting.
Would you say that somebody that was not sucked into the quantum realm, but like was born there, was like a never sucked?
Yeah, I guess they've been a never suck. They're a dry boy.
It does remind me of.
They're what's known as a clogged pipe.
It does remind me of both, like on in Guardians when we see like on Xandar. They're aliens, but they're so human in many ways, and even their customs and like the way they interact.
Just maybe some slightly different haircuts and outfits and
Right,
stuff
and
like
that's
that.
part of like some old Marvel comic book lore of the idea that the Celestials, like all life comes from an original DNA, and we're all very related to aliens, and that's why you can bang a couple aliens and make a baby sometimes.
Hey, yo.
That all life comes from the
can?
same genetic building blocks,
You
and that would
can?
go all the way down to the quantum realm. It gets so much there. But the way they do speak, it does remind me of Squid Game, a movie made in Korea, or a show made in Korea, where most of the show's in Korean, but when they had the
foreign billionaires or whatever.
English-speaking billionaires, the way they spoke was very strange.
So that's exactly what I was going to say. Thank you for reminding me. So Eric and I actually met one of those guys last weekend. We met one of the VIPs
At KyberCon?
Yes, his name was John D. Michaels. Very nice man. I'm not trying to name drop, but he was just a nice guy. I want to give him the shout out for this. He played one of the VIPs, not the one who was naked. He wants everyone to know that very clearly. He was not. He was not
Will
a naked.
not do nude scenes.
But he's he's an American actor that's been working in Korea, and he always plays businessmen or CIA officers or whatever. And he goes, "We're not playing Americans. We're playing what Koreans think Americans are like," or wherever else he works. If he works in Asia, he's like, it's a crazy thing. They get their scripts in Korean and then they Google translate them. They don't ever even get so they have to
they had to figure it out themselves.
They have to kind of guess. He's like, that's why all that. Funny. So he's like, when Squid Game blew up, I was like, everyone's gonna love this show. And the one thing they're gonna hate is our parts, and we're gonna be maligned for it, and everyone's gonna think that we're just terrible actors.
So imagine if you're watching this movie in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
You'd be like, this is not an honest depiction of my home.
You'd be like, Quaz would never talk like that. He's always saying weird, off-handed, racist things.
Gerald Mohabir sent in a super chat asking, will any of these Kangs be the villain for the upcoming Fantastic Four?
Hey, if one of those
including
Kangs
like
are Doom.
Rama Tut, you know what I mean?
I think
is
Ramatut
Doom a
is gonna-
Kang?
Doom's not a Kang.
No,
He wants to be a Kang so bad.
But if they did it, MCU can do anything.
Right.
They killed MODOK, and we have the Intelligentsia, and we have the Leader coming up. We have a lot of things MODOK could be in, and they killed him, so they can do whatever they want.
He'll be back.
But
As someone else.
I was so obsessed with Ramatut showing back up in Egypt because in the comics he goes from being Ramatut to leaving to being someone else and then going back to being Ramatut because it was so much fun. And if that's what we get into, because Feige was talking slightly about a Moon Knight season 2, and I'm like, oh, go back in time, go see Ramatut, and it's gonna be Kang, and it's gonna be beautiful. So that's where I want that's where I want Ramatut.
I would think that this Kang, I think the main Kang who got the second suck in, not the initial suck in, but the second suck in into the power source. He's going to be our long-term villain. He's going to be our Kang Dynasty Secret Wars big villain, right? I think the next time we see him could be in Fantastic Four. That whatever work like Fantastic Four is doing, whatever, the science work they're doing, they're going to find that Kang and release him in like a weird way, which I think might be the most interesting thing.
Do you think he'll just come out and destroy all the other Kangs?
I mean, he's going to be pissed now. Though I don't know who he should be more mad at. Is he more mad at the Pims and the Langs, or is he mad at the Kangs?
I think
Pim Pot
Beeline for them. I also pitched that the first people that the Kangs will probably go after are definitely the Pims. 100% the Pims and the Langs.
Yeah.
After the Pims and Langs, it's gonna be like anyone that can enter the quantum realm. So it'd be Wanda, Agatha, Doctor Strange, Wong, and maybe possibly White Vision. So they're gonna line up. They're gonna murder.
They're gonna
Do
line
you
up.
guys think we're going to get another MODOK? I think, as I just
This
said,
can't be the end of MODOK.
that
I hope
technology
it's
exists
not.
now, and ostensibly, I could see Hank, or did Hank ever see MODOK?
Yeah. Everyone had their moment of being daring.
Oh, that's right. I could see Hank becoming obsessed with turning that into a thing for good. And maybe a mobility tactic, not necessarily making the giant heads, and accidentally making a MODOK. Like doing the MODOK with a C, designed only for computing.
Right.
But then it ends up being only for killing again, like the MODOK turns.
I mean, Darren should be a character who keeps dying and coming back.
I mean, if they
I
can
don't-
make it Darren Cross,
I don't think it should be the one that died necessarily, but it should. I think now that we're just opening the multiverse, we can get, I'm so sorry, I said this in my videos, we could get a Darrenless Cross or just not Darren. We can get someone else.
Cross?
Or a Darrenless MODOK, sorry. A Darrenless MODOK. Or we can get someone that wasn't, in the first movie, maybe even a Luis. It could be anyone else but Darren Cross. And it's someone in a different timeline that was a close friend that got sunk in.
It goes to a testament of what truly, as he says, or as he is called in the movie, what a dick Darren Cross was, that they didn't even try and bring his body back. They were like, leave him in the realm to rot.
It's a heavy
There's
body.
a lot of things going on.
Listen,
There's a lot of things
they could have
going
pulled
on
him out of there and dragged that little weird butt out of the
Well,
one.
yeah. Also, how you bury that, it takes forever,
Hey,
dude.
you know what? I just think it was a little bit in poor taste to leave him there. Okay, let's talk about this post-credit scene, guys. We got. I think I would not be surprised if this was the second post-credit scene. Was a scene cut from or out of Loki
it
season
absolutely
2.
is.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely
Loki and Morbius back together again. I don't think Morbius still has his memories back then. I think that this Loki has convinced this Morbius.
He's got him
to
on
help-
the mission.
He's
Is it
trying.
Morbius? I've been saying
Mobius.
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 Oh, okay. I was like, I've been saying Mobius,
Morbius?
for so long.
No,
Morbius
sorry.
might be in Loki.
No, I'm sorry.
too.
Mobius. No, it's in the teleprompter wrong, and I'm Ron Burgundy. I read whatever's in
No,
there.
no, you're
It's
good, sorry.
Loki and Mobius are back together. Stop. Just kidding. I did nothing. Loki and Mobius are. I think Loki's trying to show him the threat that Kang is, and Mobius is like, this freaking guy is the threat. The Victor Timely. He seems kind of like a whimsical, smart man that's just trying to do cool things, and then Loki's like, no, dude, this is bad.
Do you remember in the earlier versions of the Marvel movies where they literally would clip out parts for the post-credit
They did
scene,
it
and they
for-
just started doing it again with this one?
Yeah,
It's
Thor
different.
Ragnarok, they did it. They did it for Civil
Civil
War.
War. I miss those times.
They put a trailer up for Avengers at the end of Iron Man 2, I believe. Yeah.
I love it. I'm
Well,
here for
to
it.
your point, right? We saw.
Who is this?
Hi, I'm John. Hello.
What happened here?
Um,
John, is your mic muted?
it's off.
John, turn
right.
it on.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Now, what do we think about the TVA?
Well, to your point with Victor Timely, though, is that He Who Remains. Have they jumped back in time in a weird way?
So Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah.
The time. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's back in time for sure.
Well, yeah, but I
It's a time
mean,
travel show.
is
But
this?
is he who remains, or is he someone from a different time? Because I mean, Mortis literally was
Is he-
3 different characters before he was a Mortis. So has Victor Timely always been Victor Timely, or was he who remains that escaped to become Victor Timely?
I gotta think Loki season 2 is gonna show us the origins.
Oh,
of
it has to.
He Who Remains,
It
right?
better.
And to your point
It better.
earlier about like Loki trying to be like, this is what happened. We got that shot from like one of those Disney Plus promos of Loki basically like stabbing that wall with
Yeah.
the pruning thing, and I think one of the heads of the timekeepers was on the ground.
Well, it was like a mosaic of the original
Yeah.
3 timekeepers.
I think that
He
scene is
stabbed
him
it.
basically being like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah,
like, you
it's
know,
behind
right?
this
Yeah.
wall. It's behind the wall.
We think he might be he who rekangs.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I think Victor Timely is Victor Timely, but this is also me basing it off of him in the comics that I like. The MCU could change it and make him actually connected to He Who Remains, but I like that. Sorry, the monitor keeps switching to Tommy. I like the idea of Victor Timely coming from Timely, Wisconsin, and creating the original Human Torch, and just teaching his entire staff the advance of robotics and making the worst kind of villain in
Now,
the world.
do we think that Timely, which I think in the comics becomes Chronopolis and goes into the quantum realm? I think he takes the whole town into the quantum realm with him to escape. Is that going to be our next entry into the quantum realm? Is Victor Timely going to... could we be in the quantum realm in Loki season 2 is my,
I think he makes
question.
he makes like a little portal to Chronopolis through Timely, Wisconsin. That'd be sick as hell.
Well, I mean, shit. Cassie can open portals to the quantum realm whenever she wants now.
Well, no, she needs to have the power source.
But Kang has that, assuming
Right.
many Kangs have time chairs.
Well,
and power
no.
sources
There
and
was the
everything.
time chair with the power source. Janet hooks it up.
Yep.
And it opens up the portal. She moves some circles. She
Yep.
does some very Janety stuff. Again,
Sure.
she's smarter than Slow Kang, so she's able to program it to do this thing very quickly. And then all Cassie did was like open it back up again. It still had the power source in
And
the
also-
quantum realm, which is now gone.
But it's also like, what's the equivalent to the power source? In my video, I compared America Chavez's powers to the quantum energy ball because they do have the same powers, and same with Ghost. Ghost is literally a ball of the same quantum energy. So if Ghost like allegedly just did her powers on this device, she can open the portal.
Perhaps.
Or erupt it.
Hey, I like that.
Plus now they have
Give her
ants,
something
they have
to do.
ants on the inside, right? They have a
on the
society of
inside.
ants
Oh, yeah.
that love Hank Pym.
They could design
and
that
we'll
tag.
keep working on the technology to
That's
get
true, they could make-
in and
Now,
out.
so here's my. I'm going to give you guys a lightning round question. Then we're going to do some questions
right,
from
right.
the chat after that to
All
close
right.
out this bad bitch. You guys got one chance to go into the quantum realm to bring someone out for your help, for your usage. Who you pulling out of the realm? Who you plucking out of the
Who do you
realm?
pluck out of the realm?
Yeah,
I mean,
we know the suck in, but for the final pull out, who are you taking
There's
out of the
no
realm?
shot in taking anyone but the guy, the gloopy guy with no holes.
You're taking Veb?
I'm taking Veb all.
I'm taking one of
What
the
is he
ants.
giving you?
I'm gonna suck that dude bone dry.
Whoa!
But
wow.
then-
I'll fucking talk to anyone I want. It's gonna be
Wow.
great.
Well, we don't have a conversation. It could just be the people in the quantum.
We don't know if it
wanna
works for
suck
like
'em.
French and Italian.
What's
All we know is it works for quantum
what's the
language.
city in the Bible where all the languages fall apart? Is that
Babel.
Babel.
It was a tower of
yeah.
The Tower of Babel.
Exactly.
John, what
John's
Exactly.
good.
I'll talk
John's
to God.
Our God is
how
an
that goes?
awesome
No,
God.
no.
And he's king from
take
the
one of the
heavens
ants,
above.
ride it around town
You
and
gotta
fix your
shoot. You
computer.
gotta shoot your shot when you come on this show. I
Jeez
just.
Louise.
I would take an ant, but I'm so afraid of an ant being shot
No.
down that I can't get another
No.
ant. So I'd probably take Genuinely, which, yeah, I guess I just have her teach me to fight Gentora.
Yeah.
Gentora was
Gentora
hot.
will upset.
Gentora. She was so mean.
I'll take
Like-
Quaz, my
I-
mind-reading
No,
friend.
I was like, I don't want
Quaz.
him reading my mind all the time.
Didn't you die?
No.
No, Quaz didn't die.
Quaz would
Light
just
guy.
look at Quaz would just
The
look at
light-
me
light
and
guy.
Light
cry
bulb
and
had
then kill
died.
himself.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to light
They
bulb
reminded
head.
me. I
The
told
only
Dashiell-
victim.
Yeah, I told Dashiell and Evan this. They remind me so much of Korg and Meek.
Oh,
I see.
yeah.
I see.
I
was
just,
like,
I do want to throw out one thing to Kang. Again, Slow Kang. When you're designing your soldiers and they're moving someone, they're moving a prisoner by walking on both sides of them. Multiple times in this film, we saw people get out of that scenario by punching one and then punching the other.
Yes.
you got to train them to watch out. When
Yeah.
they're walking someone down a hallway, watch out.
Yeah.
Because they'll make a move and they'll get away if you're not careful.
They were the easiestly tricked henchmen I've seen in a while. I also think my pick is I'm taking one of those sentient buildings
Oh, that's a
okay.
good one.
Oh,
That's
well,
a
you can
good
move
one.
around
that can
town.
turn
Yeah.
into ships and shoot lasers out of their
And
eyes.
That's a
also,
good one.
if a
That's a good
solicitor
one.
comes up towards the house, they will shoot it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You have
I
to
would
say, like, no,
choose
it's
that
okay.
one, too.
No, it's okay.
All right, let's get into some.
Pulling that giant house through the portal. That'd be very
Let's see here. Okay. We got Gerald Mohabir says.
Oh, we did this
did
one.
that
We did this
that
one already?
sorry.
Okay, that's right. Sorry, Gerald. Our friend Fly Ninja 808. Could TVA be in the quantum realm or maybe limbo?
Now, this is an interesting question because we have this discussion a lot, and even in this movie, they kind of throw out realms, dimensions, universes, and even the way Janet describes the quantum realm as like it being way more, and she says something like subatomica and stuff like that, other
Subatomica.
things that exist in Marvel Comics.
I'm going to cut you off real fast.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go long today.
Yeah.
I might try to grab Eric later. I'm not totally sure. Before we answer more of your questions, we do have to thank
Oh, that's
NordVPN.
right. Oh, yes.
We did our movie club yesterday. We had a bunch of fun.
Oh, I loved it.
And one of the ways that we did that was we accessed Netflix in another country so that we could watch Zombieland because it wasn't on Netflix
Right,
US. So if you haven't checked out NordVPN yet, check out the link in this video's description. It's on screen now.
It's great. It's really helpful, and I gotta say, I love using NordVPN not only for access to like movies that aren't in streaming in the U.S. or you can access like free-to-play games that aren't available in the U.S. or like gaming websites like that. You can
People
also
often ask us how we get footage at New Rockstars for some of our videos. I'm not going to get into the details of that. I use NordVPN to do
you
some
can
of that work.
facilitate those things.
Yeah.
But also when you're just like surfing the internet, you can just set yourself to you can change your location just to protect yourself from your own ISP who will like monitor your activity and put ads on stuff. NordVPN will also help block like malware and suspicious sites like that. It does a lot more than just helping you watch movies in other countries. But that is a great thing you can do with it.
And I want to apologize. I did say that Zombieland was available on Thrust for a low price. It turns out that was Salamiland, which is about salami that gets zombified. It's a disturbing movie. No one should ever watch it.
NordVPN also, I believe, will protect you from Thrust.
Zombieland?
No one can protect you from
Let's hope
Thrust.
so. Well, how do I get NordVPN, John?
Hey, grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/breakroom. We said it before.
Okay.
Click the link in this video's description. They're going to give you a big old fat discount.
Okay.
And a bonus gift.
What
Bonus
is the
gift.
bonus gift?
It's just going to be
Nunchucks?
every day. They're going to send you a photo of MODOK's little tushy.
Oh.
Not that gift,
Yeah.
please.
Risk-free because they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. We've kind of been saying we're going to be doing these NordVPN deals, movie club
clubs.
things every
Yes.
month. So if you get it now, you'll have it for the next time we do
Heck
NordVPN.
I wish we could do it every week. I love it. I love a movie club.
Well, you'd have to ask Brandon to join his.
Brandon won't talk to me.
No, I refuse.
We're not speaking.
I refuse.
Sorry, that was a wild.
that was a
detour
good. That was a
took
good
us on.
ad
was
plug,
fine.
John. You did a great job.
Borowitz50 asking us a nice question. How did Loki get to an 1800s Kang? I think he convinced Mobius, right? Mobius
Yeah, well,
did
this
that.
kind of
still
goes back
have
to
the
that
thing.
question too of the
You
TVA.
gotta have a 10-pat rate.
Yeah, what the TVA is it in a limbo? I mean, when it was described on the show, here's my thing with the TVA, okay? People keep talking about the TVA as they saw in Loki as like a Bible of like how the TVA works. It's not. The TVA was all a lie. It only exists.
That's a good point.
It doesn't exist against all multiverses. It is attached to the 616. It was a stealth cloaking device
a Brandon theory.
used to keep the 616 out of the purview of all the other Kangs. We saw in the post-credit sequence, right, that Kang, all the Council of Kangs, they look out the window. They're like, look at the multiverse. And you could see all the time streams. You could see them colliding. When we were with He Who Remains at the Citadel at the End of Time, or whatever it was called, it was a circle. He was inside the circle of the 1616. And that's where the TVA lives. It is attached to that one thing.
And I think
That's
it's
how I
important
see
to
it.
note, within the 616, there are still multiple timelines.
Multiple timelines, yeah.
Right? So even though it is part of one universe, there are still multiple
Mm-hmm.
timelines. that are considered to be sacred, right? And they'll prune them accordingly.
And we know they can ride up and down these timelines to a point in time that they want to go.
I have a question for you guys. This is just a personal opinion. When Kang is going ham outside his Kang fortress and he's using the blue energy to, is that the same technology or maybe a more advanced technology than the prune sticks?
Well, yeah, so his power comes from his suit. I mean, he's jacked, right? He's a big dude. But the whole thing was he needed the ship to get the suit. So
I'm talking about the blue lasers specifically, though. Were those pruners?
I don't think they were pruners. I think they were like, you're dead.
You're just vaporized.
You're dead.
You don't think they all went to the land of confusion?
Well, you know what's interesting? So he does. Janet at one point mentions the void as part of the quantum realm. Now, I think that the void that she's referencing is different from the void.
Well, she calls it Atomia, right, or something like that.
There's layers, and one of them is called the void, and I think the void is referencing to that sort of like that like black void that we see in the first Ant-Man movie, right? And not like the void from Loki, but it was when she said that, my ears perked up, and I was like, "Ooh, are we gonna get to see Eliath again?"
At least she didn't say Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Tired of everything being named the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Why can't it be the Sunny Realm?
Kalia Allen says, "What's Cassie's superhero name?" We didn't get one. Eric Voss in his predictions was right. He was sort of like, they don't really do that. They did it in She-Hulk, but it was a bit. They did it in Miss Marvel, but it was like a cute thing for her dad to give her at the end of that movie.
Why?
But
But do they never call Janet or Hope Wasp?
Well, I think Hope and Scott are taking on the monikers from Hank and Janet, and they, like back in the '70s, maybe it was less. It was more in vogue to
this
give
is like
people
wrestling, right?
names.
A lot of wrestlers keep their real name now. They don't take on fake names anymore. But they got to name themselves. But this is the same problem we have with issue with like Yelena Belova. Is this the new generation where it's Yelena, it's Kate Bishop, it's Cassie Lang? It's like give them fun superhero
You
names.
can call me Tommy Tiny Sack Bechtold, and I'll be at WrestleMania knocking around all the bad guys.
You can't call
Sam walked by with the saddest, scared face on her.
Sam always looks sad when she says
There will probably be a deleted scene where we see two members of the Quantum Realm people, the Freedom Fighters, being like, "Wow, look at her stature," and then the other one's like, "She's a real stinger," and they'll be like, "It's stature, it's stinger."
I'm sure we'll get that exactly.
And then they rip each other in half because it's the Quantum Realm.
They duplicate.
I'm sorry we didn't see more of those duplicating spider things from the opening scene.
That's a good question. When I was sitting in the theater, I was like, I wonder if Kang sent those and then saved Janet to win favor over. I don't think that was what was happening. But yeah, for a little while, I was like, did Kang do that on purpose so that he could save Janet? I think they're probably quantum realm creatures, but I thought that for a minute. Rosario L sent in a super chat saying, so does everyone have an unlimited supply of PIM particles in their suit because they felt like they used so much and they were never worried about running out? You gotta think at the end of Endgame, when it was hard for them to get PIM particles, they were like, "Hey, you gotta get to work."
Yeah. I'm sure they have little shrunk down PIM particles that they can make bait. There's little ones.
Now that they have the Pim Van Dyne Foundation, I'm sure they have an amount that's astronomical.
Well, and this is like as soon as Tony was able to interact with Wakanda, he suddenly had a nanotech Iron Man suit. It's like now they have nanotech Ant-Man and Wasp suits that are so smart that it puts your tousled hair into the helmet nice without cutting it off.
Yeah.
Well, very smart stuff.
Voss,
I imagine they must have like a more robust system for making PIM particles.
Voss in a lot of blue screen videos that we don't use the blue screen video term on.
I can't believe you said that publicly. You will never
on
be
a lot
on
of
camera
on a lot of videos has talked about how like Tony will build in fixes to the problems that he has in previous movies. So yeah, this feels like that where they were like, okay, we need a basically an infinite supply of these.
Can they pee in those suits?
I mean, they have enough PIM particles now that like Hawkeye's getting arrows, so it's like there's not a short supply on PPs anymore.
Coulson's got PIM bullets. We don't know. The whole goon squad's getting PIM particles.
Yeah, they're giving everyone PIM.
One of our great moderators, Chrissy says, imagine what would happen if Wanda and Kang teamed up. I think we'd all be fucked if reality doesn't implode first.
I second that.
I think
Secret War. Anything's possible.
I think Wanda is hiding in the quantum realm.
I think
I think she's down. I think that's where she went when she turned red.
I agree that she's probably alive, but I think a great replacement for Wanda is just using Agatha now. And Agatha is still under her little brain spell, so we don't know if she's going to be good or bad when she gets out of it. And that, I think, is something that can be easily swayed and persuaded by Kang.
Side conversation.
Are you saying that you think Agatha is being puppeted by Wanda to a degree?
Well, yeah, I think the power's still
Covenant
on
of
her
Chaos?
because in Covenant of Chaos, didn't we see
would
her, like her
love
mall
that.
scene where she's still dressed
Yeah,
like
I mean,
her,
she
like
looked. She was still.
preppy mom
Yeah, she's
thing?
like, sort of in black and white.
And then we saw her out of her real witch attire, and I assume she likes that
Agatha-
more than the.
Agatha
portal
was
thing.
not evil. She
Agatha
wasn't wrong at all.
wasn't.
Hey, I mean,
Agatha was trying to
Agatha
help
was
everybody.
sick.
Thumbnail for this video is: was Kang a good guy? I say yes. Was Agatha
say
a good
yes.
guy?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I say
What's your
yes.
argument for Kang being a good guy?
I think, I mean, like, Tommy, you're right. Maybe all Kang's excuses is going to be like, well, the other Kangs are worse, but he was, it seemed like he wasn't lying to Janet. It seemed like he was really like, let's go, let's get out of here. I'm bringing you to your family. He told Janet he wasn't going to destroy her universe. Maybe, but like, there's other universes to destroy. I really do think Kang was like, hey, you saved my life. I owe you one. I'm not going to fuck with you. When you're dead, because that's how time works, maybe I'll destroy the 616.
I just had a vision,
Okay.
a white vision.
You can't talk about it on air.
It's Black History Month, Tommy.
Wait, not that kind. Walter White vision.
okay.
I'm gonna start cooking. No.
Let him cook.
What if the end of Kang Dynasty is Wanda and Agatha trapping a bunch of Kangs in their own like nightmares, and they all are repeating over and over again, "You don't want to kill me. The other ones are way worse." And you just hear, and it just stacks on stacks on stacks. So you have like 1,000 Kangs being like repeated. It's like that news thing when Sinclair Broadcasting made all the anchors say like,
Yes.
"Liberty has never been more at risk," and it was like 1,000 people saying it. It's all the Kangs being like, "If you kill me, way worse ones will come," and it's like times 1,000. I just could see
would
that
love
happening.
that.
That'd be
I have a question for you guys. The world that Scott comes back to at the end, is it the same 6160?
I think that's a separate break room topic or a separate solo video topic for a time.
Dashiell brought this up, and I think, oh my god, I would have loved this ending that they are stuck in the quantum realm, but when they get out, Cassie's aged and she's old, and everything has changed in time.
It's like Interstellar. She's 80
I genuinely
now.
was like, Jeff, do this, Jeff, please do this. But
What if he comes back and what if he comes back and she was, like 8 again?
Yeah.
And he's like, I got what I wanted, but it seems so fucking wrong now. And
I
now
think
I lost a different version of my daughter.
I think he's not back, and I think when that portal closed at the end and reopened, it was not the same place.
they treated the quantum realm like a quantum tunnel.
Because when Loki comes, when He Who Remains died and Loki goes back to the TVA, everything has changed in a very like Back to the Future Part 2 scenario. I think the same thing has happened here, and the fact that we can hear Scott's inner thoughts is very bizarre.
and all the
we not
green
know
and
the
purple.
beginning?
All
At
the
the
green
beginning,
and
he's
purple.
doing a
reading
reading,
the
and
book.
then at the end, unless he wrote a really fucked up sequel to his book,
Might have.
where it's stream of consciousness.
What if it is
unless
the
he did
ending?
Finnegan's
Look out
Wake
for my
his
panic
second,
attack.
Yeah.
What if it is
Come
the
for
ending
my-
of the book? What if it was word the ending of the book? That'd be insane.
Also, I did love the line read. Poor Hank didn't get enough line reads in this movie, but nailed every one of them.
Yeah, he
When
did.
he said, "I read every goddamn
Yes, that was
Yeah.
great.
You know what pissed
and
me
it
off?
was like, I don't know if it was an insult or a celebration.
think
I
it's
know
sad,
people.
right?
I know people have complaints about this movie. My only complaint is that the line reading of "I just saved $8" was so much better in the trailer
It was
than
different.
it was in the
Why
movie.
did they use
It
a
was
different
so good in the
version of it?
trailer, and they
I
changed
just
it
saved
for the
$8.
movie.
Better in the trailer.
Hey, Kyle Avery says, "Why was this Kang the most feared but lost to Giant Scott? No moves wasted" was a quote by Major. Seems like quite a few moves were wasted. Unfortunately, I hear that complaint. I know people are
Because
like,
he's the dumbest king.
well, I know people
But
are
how did
commonly
he
frustrated.
literally fight. I guess we
I-
can get into it a different time. Tweet at me. I'll
I know
respond.
people are commonly frustrated that New Rockstars like comes in and like has theories for why things maybe didn't work for people in movies. But there is a possibility that I think this is true. This Kang did not die. B, if Kangs can see all versions of the future and time works differently for them, it's very possible that
There was a
like
version.
going into this sort of probability storm was, something that this Kang was interested in or whatever. You could say like, why didn't he do it earlier? I don't know the answer to that. But like, you could say it's possible that this is the outcome that he wanted.
To Kyle's point, playing devil advocate for Kyle, I was also I was like, I wanted there to be consequences, and I wanted there to be higher stakes, and the stakes were very high. But it was more so like I was like, I don't need the speech of you killing every Avenger and every Thor if you can't beat Hope and Hank. All right. Hope
Wow,
but
in their
he's-
own movie.
But he's like,
you guys
looking,
are so harsh.
He's looking beyond them, right? He even like he talks down to them by saying like you talk to ants.
What is it?
Like I'm so
What
much
is this?
better than you.
A school for ants?
And
I love
I don't
that
need
line in the
I don't
movie.
have the I'm not even like wasting time about dealing with you. And he does. He wastes moves by being like, no, I'm gonna get physical, I'm gonna go down and physically fight them and waste time like zapping people. Because he is so easily triggered because he's the dumbest Kang. He's so easily triggered by people like questioning him that he goes into fits of rage.
Yeah.
Like he's an idiot.
But also, it's worth reminding people, and maybe you didn't want this to happen, but it is what happened in the movie. This is a significantly depowered Kang. He is without his
trapped.
suit. He
Yeah.
is trapped. And he's not without a suit. He's without his time chair. His suit does start to malfunction there at the end.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
damaged.
It's damaged. He doesn't have any way to like repair that. He's in the middle of the
got his
battle.
guns out,
So
though,
like,
at least.
I mean, I understand the complaints that like this Kang was taken down by an army of ants. I see it 100%. He is significantly depowered, and there's people online saying things like, you know, why should I be fearful of Kang when, you know, this Kang was so easily defeated? I
It's
think
Ant-Man.
it's-
The movie's called Ant-Man.
Well, but
was he
also,
supposed
like-
to be defeated by water lilies?
I think it's okay that people have different like.
No, 1,000%.
You should
But I
agree
just
with
want to
me 'cause
remind
I'm
people.
right.
I just want to remind people this is not the Kang that we're gonna get in
yeah.
future movies.
Or
They're
is
gonna
it?
they're gonna
Maybe-
power Kang up.
To that point, I think that they should have pulled that across more.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
it definitely for me, I was
at me.
even like, I don't think this is a depowered Kang, but I get what you're saying.
Look at me. This movie is called Ant-Man. The popcorn bucket is an Ant-Man helmet, not a Spider-Man helmet, not a Thor helmet, not another helmet. It's an Ant-Man helmet. Loki or Kang need to be defeated by ants because it's called Ant-Man. It's not that hard, guys. It's titling.
It's also okay, but it was.
not
I was
okay.
so close to getting one theory right on Cassie dying, and when he was choking her, I said, "Kill her." I said, "Kill her." I was like, "Just kill her and bring her back. Just kill her and bring her back." And I was like, I might win. I might win.
We had a
And
lot
then
of
some-
we had a
it didn't
lot of
happen.
close theories.
It didn't
Brandon
happen.
Brandon was on board that like either Hank or Janet
Yes.
would turn and work
yeah.
with Kang. Turns out Scott kind of did that. Yeah.
Brandon said, "You said Hank and Janet getting stuck, or the other one's
right.
getting stuck."
I
And
thought they
when
would
it
choose
closed,
this, you know.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Brandon's right." And then it
Yeah, when they
We're
closed, I
gonna
was
go
like,
have a
they're stuck
throuple
now.
with Lord Krylar.
But hey,
That
next
you
week on
were
the
right
break
on
room,
that one.
we're going to be talking a lot more about Quantumania. We're going to probably revisit our predictions and kind of say who was right about things, who was wrong about things. But thank you so much for
was
joining
wrong
us
about
today
everything.
on the break room. Hey, if you didn't know this, which I can't believe you wouldn't know this, we launched a new channel today.
All right.
We launched a new
Right.
channel today. There are 4 new videos on a different channel than New Rockstars. It's called
What's
The
it called?
Deep Dive.
Thank you.
It's called The Deep Dive. We've got an amazing deep dive into WandaVision, talking about like all of her grief and like why that's like such an important through line to that story and
Was
how
there
it's gonna-
grief in that show?
There was a little bit of
I
grief.
missed it.
Well,
It
what is
persevered.
If not love, persevering.
what is grief?
An
It's
amazing,
not love persevering.
an amazing deep dive on Loki, which is even more significant now that we came out of Quantumania, and I think Eric was like, "I'm so glad that I wrote that." He wrote that video like 2 or 3 weeks before he
Yeah.
saw Quantumania. And then, if you don't have a ton of time today, there's a great 16-minute piece on how trailers are deceptive. Eric did a ton of research. It's like backed by years of us doing trailer analysis on this channel, plus some like secret stuff that we can't talk about because it's so secret.
I am ready to announce, though, there is a 4-hour video of Eric helping me find my belly button.
No.
That one's unlisted.
That's on
So
Thrust.
ask Tommy for the link on Twitter.
Sorry,
And then,
that one's on Thrust, which we are offering a sale. Use code THRUST69420 for 89% off for the next 20 years.
89.
89%.
I want 20% less than that.
Yep, sorry.
And then Eric this morning did a live breakdown of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and kind of like did a pullback of the curtain of how we break down movies on this channel. Super cool.
It was awesome.
Check that out. But in addition to that, on the New Rockstars channel, our Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania breakdown is now out. You can watch
baby.
it right now. It's on the channel. So close this tab. Go watch that video. We'll see you guys on Sunday for Last of Us episode 6.
That's right.
And if you get
Discussion.
bored, you can, it's okay. No, forget about my videos. It's go to deep dive and then go to mine.
No, Jessica, on tomorrow.
Saturday.
Tomorrow. Jessica has an amazing theory about the quantum realm in particular. Do you want to give a little preview?
I just talk about what the quantum realm's
I'm
future
sorry,
is going to be.
Jess.
No, it's okay.
Yes,
The quantum realm's future is going to look like in the MCU during Phase 5 and 6.
Listen to me. Camera 4, please. We got a lot of content coming out. Okay, we got 2 different channels. We got great videos. Every video is worth your time. I want you to remember something very important. Your family will never die. You don't need to spend time with them this weekend. Watch the videos. Play the videos. Your family will be fine, okay? You can see them. You go apple picking with them next weekend. Watch the You must watch the content.
How much butter was in that popcorn?
You must watch the content.
I do think we put out 11 videos in the last 2
You can
days.
do it. If you get all 11, I want you to hashtag me TommyB11 video meltdown. And I will respond to you with a profanity-laced tirade.
Yeah, this is the most content we've ever put out in a 2-day period in my history in the Rockstars, which is a long time. I've been here for a while. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back on Sunday, and then a regular live break room on Tuesday of next week. Sorry that the schedule is a little bit
Just
weird.
check in every day. Make sure we're okay.
Yeah, there you go.
If we're not on, we're
Thanks,
dead.
roomies.
We'll see you later.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Bye.